Today's NASCAR Cup Series race at Martinsville was decent. And I didn't expect this guy to win at all. I'm sure all of us didn't expect him to win. Kyle Larson, he gets his second win of the year at Martinsville. His second win of the season, his first career win at Martinsville. And yeah, again, I did not expect this to happen. I did not expect Kyle Larson to actually win at Martinsville, or this race, I should say.
Back to reality.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of In the NASCAR. This is the Martinsville Race Review Edition, the spring, I should say. The spring Martinsville Race Review, and yeah. So, this race was decent, and I gotta say, compared to last year's race, this year's was better than last year's spring race. By far better than last year. I mean, I guarantee that the racing in this race was 100% way better, was better than the one back in the spring last year. However, it was still very difficult to pass. It's still very hard to pass out there, and it's not like in Xfinity, because I think in Xfinity it's much more easier to pass, but in Cup with these next gen cars, it's difficult. And then, yeah. So, yeah, Ryan Preece. I gotta talk about Stewart-Haas Racing. Stewart-Haas Racing was the main team in today's race. They were really the main team to win, main team to beat in today's race. And Ryan Preece, I was shocked that he won the pole. And I am surprised Stewart-Haas Racing, besides from Kevin Harvick, did this good. Had a lot of great speed, especially with Almirola and Chase Briscoe. Heck, I didn't even expect Chase. I predicted Chase Briscoe to be out of the playoffs this year. But if he continues with this speed, he may just very well just get in. So, yeah, Ryan Preece, he won stage one. And stage one was nothing really happened that much in stage one, where nothing really exciting happened. Nothing really anything happened in stage one. It was just one all conveyor belt, like in 30 laps. Ryan Preece literally led all of them. Nothing really much, really. Nothing really happened other than just single file line and just 30 a single file conveyor belt around Martinsville and pretty much 30 laps. Stage one was won by Ryan Preece. Stage two, I know there's one incident where Eric Jones got into Harrison Burton. He spun around. And yeah, there were green flag pit stops, I believe. I'm not sure if it was towards the end of stage two. I don't think it was towards the end of stage two. I think it was towards stage 2 to stage 3. But the one driver who was able to challenge up through those Stewart-Haas boards, Denny Hamlin, man. Oh my gosh, I so wanted Denny Hamlin to win this race. He was actually my main pick for today because he's so good at this racetrack. I wanted him to win. I wanted him to get redemption. Boy, he was close. He was close, but just in the end, just didn't get it done. But he did have a great car today, and he got his first top 5 of the year, and got a good points day, in the top 10 all day. So that's what we need, a good race and a great finish, and we got it. So first top 5, I'm so pumped about that. So, yeah. So, yeah, stage 2, again with that Eric Jones and Burton spin, that happened. And then the green flag pit stops happened, and then stage 2 was won by Kevin Harvick. So I'm happy for Kevin Harvick. But the thing is, in stage 3, during the money stops, stage 3 was where the green flag pit stops happened. Stage 3 was where Kevin Harvick and his team blew it. Loose wheel. I think Harvick finished somewhere in the 20s or the teens. I feel so bad for him, man. Harvick, man, I feel extremely bad for Kevin Harvick. I would say he was one of the drivers that clearly deserved to win today's race. And same with Briscoe. Briscoe did deserve to win this one. Almirola as well. He deserved this one as well. Kyle Larson, in the end, and get this, there was this caution for J.J. Yaley's incident that changed everything and effectively give drivers like Larson, Bubba Wallace, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., some of the drivers from green flag pit stops that haven't pitted yet did pit it, and that changed everything for their days, especially Bubba Wallace, which in stage 2 or stage 3, Bubba Wallace was trying to wreck Denny Hamlin. I was like, he wasn't trying to wreck him, he was just bumping. I was worried that Bubba may bump Hamlin wrong and effectively spun him out. And oh boy, if that would have actually happened, then I would just call Bubba Wallace a traitor, but didn't happen. So Bubba's good. He's still good. So, but yeah, stage 2 was won by Kevin Harvick, and the Stewart-Haas cars, again, like I said, they were very quickly. They were indeed very quickly, and they were really fast. And Joey Logano, he had to start at the rear for like an unapproved adjustment, and he wasn't even able to get into the top 20, like rarely at all, until that caution came out for JJ Yeley. We have some tempers as well between Kyle Busch and Corey LaJoie, and yeah, this video is right now being made just after the Martinsville race. So yeah, so yeah, and the passing was hard. It was really hard to pass. It doesn't matter if you have a good car, a bad car. Todd Gillen showed me right there. You don't have to have a bad car to lead at Martinsville in the Cup Series. You don't. You gotta be up front. If you're up front, you're staying up front, basically. So the only cars that can basically pass you are cars that are very good on lap times. Like Truex in the final 10 laps of this race, final 15, charged right up. If it was like another 30 laps or a 500-mile race, I would say Truex could have had the best car, and Truex probably would have won. But Truex finished in the top 3, so I'm happy for Truex that he got a good, solid result that he needed. So, yeah. Joey Logano, man, if he actually would have won this race, that would not be pretty for me, basically. That would not be pretty. So, yeah. So in the end, Kyle Larson, man, he did a full burnout around the track, which that was pretty dope. That was so dope of Kyle Larson to do that. And gotta talk about the racing. The racing was just like the one back in the fall, where, it was passing, it was great racing up there, and it was just, totally not the best, but it's getting there. It's getting better. The racing at Martinsville, in my opinion, has gotten better with these next-gen cars. But the spring 2022 Martinsville race, horrible. Absolutely horrible. But I have a feeling that this race was quick. It's right now like 5 o'clock now, like 5:15. I just say on my clock back there. As this video's right now being made. This video's right now. So yeah, I gotta say, man, I think the fastest Toyota was probably at the end was Truex Jr. But at like the midpoint of the race with all the Stewart-Haas cars and everything, I think it was Denny Hamlin. Tyler Reddick showed some speed. Kyle Busch is the one who really surprises me, is because I expected Kyle Busch to be in the top 10, but he just did not do well at all today. He was in battles like with Corey LaJoie. So yeah, he had battled with Corey LaJoie and some other drivers. William Byron, I heard he had some sort of problem as well. Didn't have this day that he expected it to have. Chase Elliott, like I said in my short video I made, he is back in today's race, and he finished in the top 10. So good day for Chase Elliott. Good day for his return. That's a thumbs up for him. So yeah, and wow, I mean, what can I say? This race was decent. This was a decent Martinsville race, and yeah, Kyle Larson wins. This is Kyle Larson's second win. Not only that this is his second win, both of Kyle Larson's wins this season so far have came on short tracks. First with Richmond a couple of weeks ago, and now Martinsville 2 weeks later. So, yeah. But next week's race, I am very hyped for Talladega Superspeedway. That is going to be a fun race to watch, guys. I cannot wait for Talladega. Plan on doing live race reactions for both of those, both the Xfinity and the Cup Series. So it's probably going to be one of my most funnest live race reactions I've ever done yet. So, yeah. So stay tuned for that. But talk about Martinsville real quick. Man, this was a decent race, guys. I feel like this race went by really quickly. Mostly because of the 400-mile race, not a 500-mile. But honestly, yeah, this was a good race, guys. A decent race. And so, yeah. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the race results.
And here is the race results. Kyle Larson will win the race based off strategy. Joey Logano second. Martin Truex Jr. will finish third today. He was charging up to the field late. Denny Hamlin will finish fourth today. He was up front all day, top 10 all day. Guys, first top 5 of the season. Chase Briscoe will finish fifth. Eric Almirola sixth today. Chase Briscoe and Almirola, the two Storehouse cars, were really fast. Ryan Blaney, I feel like Ryan Blaney was a little quiet today, finishes seventh. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. gets another top 10. Bubba Wallace, comes back and finishes ninth. Started ninth and finishes ninth. Good top 10 for Bubba Wallace. Really happy for Bubba Wallace, especially for being a Bubba Wallace fan. Running out the top 10 is Chase Elliott. Man's 11th, Alex Bowman. Chase Elliott, top 10 in his return. Alex Bowman went 11th. Austin Dillon. I didn't expect Austin Dillon to finish inside the top 15, but he finishes 12th. Ross Chastain, he started from the back, but he finishes 13th. Chris Buescher, 14th. Ryan Preece, after starting on the pole, I got that speeding penalty early on, finishes 15th. Christopher Bell, who won in the fall, finishes 16th. Daniel Suarez, 17th. Ty Gibbs, 18th. Michael McDowell, 19th. Kevin Harvick, after having that bad loose wheel, finishes 20th from that pit stop. Kyle Busch, 21st. Tyler Reddick. What happened to Tyler Reddick? I didn't even expect him to finish 22nd, man. William Byron, 23rd. Brad Kay, 24th. Todd Gillen, 25th. Corey LaJoy, 26th. AJ Allmendinger and Justin Haley, the Kaulig cars, 27th, 28th. 29th, Harrison Burton. He got spun out earlier in today's race. The Legacy Motor Club cars. What are they going on with? Because they just haven't been doing that good this year. 30th and 31st for Noah Gragson and Eric Jones. Ty Dillon, 32nd. Austin Cindric, 33rd. I don't think he was just that good at all, guys. Zane Smith substituting for Cody Ware, 34th. Anthony Alfredo had that loose wheel, finishes 35th. And JJ Yaley, 36th. He got caught up in that accident. That would bring up the last caution.
So yeah, guys, in conclusion, this race was decent. But the one thing that I need to tell NASCAR about this is that loose wheel that Alfredo in that 78 car. I don't get why it took that long. Probably because NASCAR didn't even see it when there was literally cameras, that the Fox Sports camera. You know, when the Fox Sports booth sees the camera first and not NASCAR, wow, that's something. And yeah. So that loose wheel for Alfredo means I think his crew chief's probably going to be suspended. He is substituting for BJ McLeod, by the way. I think his crew chief's going to be suspended and probably suspended for 2 weeks, and probably some pit crew members are probably going to be suspended for 2 weeks, probably. So, yeah, this race was decent. Obviously, it's still very much difficult to pass, but next week it's Talladega, and I cannot wait for that weekend, guys. It's going to be a fun weekend of action, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait for next weekend. So, yeah, Kyle Larson wins. I clearly didn't expect Kyle Larson to win today's race. I thought it was going to be Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, Chase Briscoe, Almirola, Ryan Preece as well. But the speeding penalty for Ryan Preece towards the start of this race, after stage 1, I believe, that costed him. That truly costed him. Bubba Wallace as well. He had that speeding penalty along with Truex as well at the end of stage 1. But thankfully, those two drivers were able to finish inside the top 10. Ryan Preece didn't, unfortunately. Oh, man. Tough break for Ryan Preece, though. But he still gets a top 20 finish. So, yeah, guys. But I'm going to give this race a 5 out of 10 for this one. This was a pretty decent race. It's not one of my favorites. Well, not one of my favorite races of the year, but it's definitely a decent one. It's definitely a decent one. And Talladega, man, I have a feeling Talladega is going to be it's of course going to be a wild show. Just look at last season in the spring where Ross Chastain came out, just hold his line, and 2311 Racing got destroyed in that last lap. So, yeah, just remembering last year's Talladega race. But Martinsville, man, the race was decent, and no Hail Melon moves this time because it's banned now. So, yeah, and you guys know what happened last time we're at Martinsville. Ross Chastain did one of the most craziest moves will ever see, and that move still amazes me to this day, and it still makes me speechless to this day. Like, Wow. Even though that took out my favorite driver, Denny Hamlin, from the playoffs, that move was great. Okay, and but it sucks again about time. It sucks that my favorite driver got eliminated, but at the same time, I was amazed and shocked and surprised because I didn't even expect that to happen. But this race, man, there was some drivers up there that I thought would be in contention, like Christopher Bell. He won in the fall last time, and he finishes outside the top 15, I believe, like top 10. He finished outside the top 10. That's shocking. That was really shocking to me. Kevin Harvick, man, with that bad pit, with that loose wheel, tough break for Kevin Harvick. So, yeah, I think I pretty much covered everything for today's race. So, yeah, this race was definitely a decent one, and so I can't wait for Talladega next week. So, yeah, the racing was okay, but there was a lot more slipping and sliding than last year's spring race because last year's spring race was at night on a Saturday night. But gosh, man, I wish Saturday night NASCAR Cup racing still is really relevant. There's only one, which was the Bristol night race, which that's one of my favorite races of the year. I'm looking forward to this Bristol night race for this year for the playoffs. One of my favorite races of the year. Same with the Southern 500 at Darlington, both two races in the playoffs, which are two of my favorite races of the year. So, yeah, guys, that's it for this race review. Martinsville, the racing was decent. With this first time Martinsville with this new aero package and actual race. So, yeah, what do you guys think of this race? Kyle Larson surprisingly wins today's race, man. I thought it was going to be a Stuart Haas car or Denny Hamlin, but in the end, it's Kyle Larson. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this race. And anyways, this is Preston signing off. Peace out.